So just imagine you're in Washington, D.C., and you're walking around the mall looking at all the monuments and the museums and such, and you're standing there and you're looking up at let's just say the Lincoln Memorial, and you hear somebody standing next to you and he says, "Man, this is a wicked city. It should be utterly destroyed. We should just level it to the ground." You know, it might depend on whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, or whether you regard the government as helpful or hurtful, or whether you just read about another member of Congress who stole money or had an illicit sexual affair. But most of us, regardless of our political leanings, would hate to think of a citizen of D.C. or of our nation actually dying, and the foundations of our government being undermined, and the collapse that would follow the destruction of our capital city. Or how would you feel if someone made that same kind of prediction about Martinsburg or our wonderful community of Pikeside? Or how would you feel if someone made that kind of prediction about our church, our beloved church? If they were to say that this is a wicked church, God is going to burn it to the ground. I would find that kind of disturbing. Who knows whether a person who talks like that might actually set fire to the church and burn it down. If I heard someone say something to that effect, I'd pick up the phone and I'd call the cops. I'd want to know whether that person was being a true threat or not. In today's gospel lesson, we find Jesus and his disciples, they were in Jerusalem. And one of the disciples, looking at the temple, said, "Look, teacher, what massive stones and what magnificent buildings." Those buildings were made of white marble and adorned inside out with gold. They were very large. The temple was as tall as a 15-story building. It stood high on Mount Zion where people could see it for miles. It's like you could see it forever. "Look, teacher, what massive stones, what magnificent buildings." Indeed, my friends, magnificent indeed. But Jesus replied to them. He said, "Do you see all these great buildings? Not one stone will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down." Maybe that was why Jesus wasn't all that popular in some circles. Later, when they put Jesus on trial, his enemies accused him of threatening to destroy the temple. And in Mark's gospel, that's the only accusation that they made against Jesus, that he threatened to destroy the temple. He didn't do it, of course, did he? He just said it would happen. And it did happen, too. About 30 years later, the Romans, they finally got tired of dealing with Jewish zealots, so they destroyed Jerusalem and killed most of the people. And when I say they destroyed Jerusalem, they leveled it. The emperor wanted to create a place that was so desolate that no one could ever know that anyone could live there. And so that's what the soldiers did. They set fire to the temple. They pulled down the stones so that no stone sat on another stone. They leveled Jerusalem. And it had happened before, about 6 centuries before. We find that in the book of Jeremiah. The prophet Jeremiah, he said that it would happen, that Jerusalem and the temple would be destroyed because of people's sins. The people didn't want to hear it, so what did they do? They imprisoned Jeremiah in a big cistern. You know, we don't use cisterns anymore, do we? The younger folk, Mary, do you know what a cistern is? Vaguely, okay. You know, in the days before mechanical pumps, Mary, listen up, I'm going to teach you here, okay? Cisterns. They were a big reservoir that we put in underground to store water, right? I remember hearing my grandpa talk about sneaking around the side of the house, getting in a cistern and swimming during the summer. Anybody else remember stories like that? Okay. So they would dig a big cistern and fill it with water during the rainy season, so that during the dry season they had water. So the people of Jerusalem, they threw Jeremiah in a big cistern to shut him up when he said things that they didn't want to hear. Namely, that God was going to destroy them and their city because of their sin. The cistern didn't have water in it, the bottom was muddy, and Jeremiah just kind of sank into the mud. And he probably would have died there. But someone said Micah of Morsheth had prophesied this same morning before. So maybe Jeremiah is a prophet too. So not wanting to risk killing a prophet, they rescued Jeremiah from the system. But they failed to heed his warning. They failed to change their ways. So God allowed the Babylonians to destroy Jerusalem and its people back in 587 BC. And so now we find Jesus warning of the same thing. He was saying that Jerusalem would once again be destroyed because of people's sins. Just as the people had failed to heed Jeremiah's warning, so also they failed to heed Jesus' warning. And worse than that, they went and crucified him. But what Jesus predicted came true. It was in 67 AD that Emperor Nero dispatched the Roman army to destroy Jerusalem. And as I said, they leveled it, killed most of the people. It was truly a terrible tragedy. So what does that have to do with us? Is there any word from God for us in our scripture today that affects our lives right now? And I believe that there is. You know, I want to draw your attention to what Jesus told his disciples after he predicted the destruction of the temple. He and his closest disciples were sitting on the Mount of Olives, across from the temple. And he said, "Watch out that no one deceives you. Many will come in my name claiming I am he, and will deceive many." So let me ask you, is it still possible to be led astray? Do we face as many temptations in our 21st century lives as those disciples faced back in the first century? Of course we do. There are so many deceivers out there today that I barely know where to start. They range from minor deceivers to major deceivers. From people telling us lies just to sell us a tube of toothpaste, to people who are undermining our nation and our people by their greed and their lust for power. And you know, we parents need to hear this because the deceivers are working on our children and our grandchildren as well. The job of parenting and grandparenting has never been more important because the lives of our kids have become so complicated. Those deceptive messages, they come at our kids from every direction, don't they? They get them from television, from advertising, from their friends, from the internet, from their cell phones, from their iPods, from just anywhere and everywhere. They get those messages. Our kids are bombarded with messages about drugs and sex and self-destructive behavior. It takes great strength for a child or a teenager to resist these temptations nowadays. You know, something I found that's both amazing and a tragedy is that right now there are 10 times as many people in prison today as there were 30 years ago. That's a tenfold increase. Maybe even more than that. You might think that has nothing to do with you, but hopefully it doesn't. But don't discount the possibility because much of that increase has to do with drugs. And our kids are at risk of that. So how can we help our kids find their way? How can we strengthen them for their journey through life? How can we help them during the many hours of each day that we can't be physically with them to support them and to lead them? You know, the key is to start early, isn't it? I read an article about instilling values in children, and I came across a quote from Senator Dan Coates, where he was talking about a public school survey in Maryland. And that survey showed parents spend an average of 15 minutes a week in meaningful dialogue with their kids. Meaningful dialogue. Children who are left, they're just left to glean whatever value they can after that 15 minutes from TV and from their friends and from the internet. Not only do we need to spend more time with our kids each day, every day, we need to start doing that when they're young, don't we? We need to get them understanding the values and instilling in them the proper way to live from the very beginning. We need to teach our children and our grandchildren faith. And we need to instill in them the values from the very beginning, reinforcing that faith and reinforcing those values every day. We have to keep it up, too. We need to persevere. We need to form close bonds with our kids when they are young and maintain those bonds as they grow. You know, mom and dads never go out of style, do they? Well, maybe in the late teens, early 20s, but we come back home, okay, folks? And grandparents, they never go out of style. That's true. Especially if you show up with a Three Musketeers. I'll tell you about that story later. Another key is to set a high spiritual tone in your home and to expect kids to adhere to standards of decency and civility at home. Our homes need to be a place where our kids can find refuge from the spiritual squalor that they find outside of the home. You know, when I was a child, my mom taught me how to wash dishes. You all remember those lessons? And if it was dirty, you had to go back in. If we had lots of dishes, she taught me not to wash all of them with the same batch of dishwater, right? Once the water became dirty and cold, we had to drain it, start a fresh batch, and start over again. Mom said, you can't get clean dishes by washing them in dirty water, right? And in like manner, we can expect to raise good kids in bad homes. If your home isn't what it ought to be, go home and drain that dirty water and make a fresh batch. It's that simple. Make a new start. Provide the most decent home you can for your kids. And another key is to spend time with your kids. You listen to them. Know their concerns. Know where they are. And know what they're doing and who they're doing it with. And you know, this isn't meddling, is it? This is called parenting and grandparenting. And it's important. And one thing that we can do along those lines is to make sure we bring our kids to worship, to Sunday school. Also participating in youth group and the wonderful civic activities such as Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. Having Christian friends doesn't guarantee anything. But I'll tell you right now, it does help when the temptations start getting tough in your life. And you know, something that each and every one of us here today can do. We can pray for our kids. Each one of us in this congregation, whether we have kids at home now or before or not, we should get to know every kid that's in this congregation. We should care about them. We should pray for them every day. Jesus said, watch out that no one deceives you. Many will come in my name, claiming I am he, and will deceive many. It's happening today, my friends. It's happening in our community. It's happening in our schools. You know, it's probably happening in some of our church members' homes. It might be happening in your home or the home of your grandchildren. We need to make our church a bastion of faith and decency to hold back that tide. We need to make our homes a stronghold of faith and decency. And each one of us need to make our lives the bulwark of faith and decency. And we need to do that to keep ourselves safe from deceivers, so that our kids will have a chance to grow up strong in body, mind, and soul. Amen.